All right. Here's what we're reviewing today. I've been looking at this brand, and I've seen the criticism of the brand. It's called the James brand. And I admit, you go to their website and some of their stuff, it's kind of hipsterish. And I'm really not a hipster. Not even hip. But I don't know, something intrigued me about it, so I figured I would give it a try. I've read some of the criticisms of, they're not a real knife company. They're a lifestyle brand, blah, 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 from the hardcore, knife guys. And most of those guys are fat, overweight, more worried about Spidey Flick and twirling around their Balisong butterfly knives and stuff and, whatever. Is it a lifestyle brand? I don't know. We're going to find out. But is it any good? There's a lot of things that are lifestyle brands that the image and the marketing is greater than the sum of its parts or the actual product. I'll give you an example. The iPhone 13 Pro that I'm using to record this. Apple is good at this. Apple is a lifestyle brand. Now, their hardware is good. It's well made. The chips are good. The screens are nice and stuff. But as far as the overall package and the operating system goes, it's second to Android. Android is far more powerful, far more flexible, a lot more features. I think in most ways looks nicer. If you don't like the way it looks, you can change it. And it's easier to use. So Apple to me is a lifestyle brand. I bought an iPhone this time around because I do like the watch and I really like my MacBook. Could I make do with an Android watch and a Windows laptop? Sure. But I do like those devices, and I figured, I've got Apple TV. I'll settle for the concessions and the compromises and the whatchamacallits that the shortcomings of the iPhone, because it integrates better with the other things that I do have and I do like. But Apple's one example of a lifestyle brand. You're buying because you want that image, you want that lifestyle. Harley Davidson is another. Harley Davidsons are not, they're okay bikes. And some of their new models, the liquid-cooled ones, are thinking outside the box and getting with the times with regards to technology. But in most of the cases, you're paying modern-day prices and a premium for 1980s technology and bikes. Harley Davidson is a lifestyle brand, yet they're pretty successful. People swear by them. Anyway, I figured I would give this company a shot. Now, there's one I really want, but I'm not spending $600 on a knife right now. I might later in the year. But this is the Carter XL. Comes in a nice package. Apparently there's a thing that says, hey, make your first cut here. And you cut that open and there's like a welcome to the company and a bunch of stuff on the inside of the package. Kind of cute. Again, just clever marketing. Has a nice little felt, case for it. If you want to store it somewhere or whatever. I don't know. It's nice enough. And then this is actually like kind of nice. So this is plywood that's been really nicely sanded and smoothed, and it is milled out to hold this particular knife. We'll go into the specs and stuff in a moment. If you don't want the pocket clip and you wish to have that instead, which is going to be, you can either use it as a lanyard, you can use it as a flat tip screwdriver, I guess, because it's going to stick out like that little blade. You get some options. Kind of interesting. Here's what their whole thing is. They only sell 6 models currently. It's a company that was founded by an industrial designer, and he wanted to just make really interesting, aesthetically pleasing, minimalist quality knives. And some of them are smaller and a little goofier looking, and then there's some really nice classic ones that look like very traditional pocket knives. Some of them come in multiple sizes. This is the Carter XL. There's also a Carter that's a little bit smaller. They come with different handle colors. Some of them are titanium, like the Barnes is beautiful. And that's the $600 knife that is beautifully milled out. It's an integral frame, so it's one piece. It's not 2 pieces sandwiched together. There's some really cool stuff. And when you look at that one specifically, that looks like the way the titanium is rounded. That looks to me like an iPhone. So they don't make the knives. They design them, and I believe the company that makes them is in China called Riat or Reet. Reet is a premium knife maker. If you go to Blade HQ and you want to buy some of their knives, you're looking at 300, 200, I think on the cheapest end is around 200, and it just goes up from there. And they're a company that also makes knives for other companies. So you bring to them the design, the materials, how you want it made, and they will make you a knife. You want to make a $1,500 knife? They can do it. So really cool company, Riet. And they apparently, I believe, are the ones that make the knives for the James brand. So this one is called the Carter XL. They all have kind of classy, interesting. Again, it goes into that hipster sort of vibe, the minimalist. But this is a cool G10. I don't know if you can see that pattern on there. It's just grippy enough. All the edges are really nicely radiused. It's really well finished. It's using a thumb disc, which is in their signature green. Easy enough to open up. That I assume will probably break in over time, loosen up a little bit. It is on ball bearing pivots. It's using basically what the lock that, it's a crossbar lock that Benchmade had pioneered. They call it the Axis lock. Now that the patent is expired, now pretty much anybody can run it off. So you got a lot of companies using that. So they're using that. Really nice. I notice even on my Benchmade bug out, sometimes on the Axis lock, you have a little bit of forward and back wiggle, just a little bit. I'm not feeling anything there, side to side or up and down. Nice stout blade. It's about a 3.5-inch blade. It is in VG10 steel. It is a high flat grind. I guess is that a drop point? Little bit, drops a little bit. Really nice belly. Seems to be a nice sharp edge out of the box. Feels pretty good. Really ergonomic. Fits in the handle nice. The clip itself, there's no hot spot. It doesn't curl up and curl into your hand. It just lays perfectly flat. And it's kind of wide, which may show a little bit more in the pocket. However, it being wide, that pressure it basically disperses any pressure when you grip it hard across a wider area. Those edges are all nicely curled and radiused, so there's no sharp edges. Everything's really slick and smooth here. When you look at it from that angle, that's going to be a good pocket clip. Very deep carry. So that's going to stick out the top of your pocket, and the knife's going to sit down in it, so that's kind of cool. It's got G10 backspacer. I went for this one. The other one with the had micarta, was really nice looking, but I already just bought another micarta handle. I've got a few of those. I got my little Civivi Elementum I reviewed for a quick size comparison. We'll throw that up against that. So this is more, I wish the Civivi was exactly the way you see it, but this size, that'd probably be my only pocket knife. It's just perfect. But this feels really good. These edges are nice, not too sharp. So if you choke up on it, it's not really, cutting into your finger or uncomfortable at all. It's just a nice, clean, aesthetically pleasing blade. Now, some people say, well, it's got VG10 steel, not S35. I'm not a knife snob as far as steels go. I'm not one of these people every group's got to have that guy, right? If you're in the gun world, there's the 45 caliber guy who, 45 ACP or nothing at all. It's the ultimate man stopper. You shoot a guy and he'll fall, knocks him off his feet, which of course is impossible because in order for it to do that, the laws of physics say, well, the impact of energy of it hitting him had to be at least equal or less than what it was when the bullet left the gun, which means if the bullet hitting that person was enough to knock them off their feet, then it also knocked the shooter off their feet, which obviously isn't the case. So, but you get those guys that are just like, they pick their caliber, or in this case, they pick their steel, and everything else sucks because it's all about ego and picking a team and trying to identify with a brand or a label or something like that because you feel it has status. And if you then say, well, that's my caliber or my sports ball team or my this or my that, then whatever status you think they have will transfer to you by proxy. And that's the way most people are about most things. I'm just not a fanboy. I'm a fanboy of motorcycles, but I own all brands. I've had all kinds of things over the years. Same thing with guns, same thing with calibers, same things with knives. I like the more expensive $160 knives. I've got some that are over $300, and then I love the $50 one, I'm not that much of a snob. This is D2 steel. This is VG10. VG10 is a good steel. It's very tough. It's easy to sharpen. It's, I believe, reasonably corrosion resistant. So, I don't have a problem with it. I don't really care. but this is really nicely made. The fit and finish is excellent. I don't see anything. It has steel liners in there, but they're completely recessed. So all you see is this just beautiful, clean, well-polished along the edges G10. Stainless steel pocket clip, stainless steel parts up here. I mean, this is a nice knife. Other than me just maybe adjusting the pivot or dropping a drop of lube in there and just playing with this just to loosen it up. That's a brand new knife. It's probably got to break in, bearing's got to break in just a little bit. Maybe needs a drop of oil. That's a very nice, clean, elegant knife, which I think is what the James brand is all about. Is it better than other knives? I'm not going to say, oh, this is the best knife. This is better than a Benchmade. I don't know that it is, but it is a cool knife. I am digging it, definitely. Don't regret buying it. I'll carry this and put this up into my rotation, but I do like the cleanness and the elegance. There's another one I want that looks really traditional. It looks like something from like the 1800s with a 3-inch blade, but there's just something so beautiful crafted about it with the titanium, with the rosewood inlays. There's some really cool stuff. Yeah, they only got a few models, but they have several configurations of each. I kind of like what they're doing. And I admit, yeah, they probably are a lifestyle brand, and maybe you're paying an extra $40 for the knife for that and for their marketing and stuff. But it's just something different. Their approach is a little different. Their packaging, which, you know, at the end of the day, that doesn't matter a whole lot, but it is nice. It's just a little bit of a different approach. It's a very cool kind of elegant design, and there is a beauty and a simplicity to it that I like. So that's the Carter XL. Definitely digging it. Definitely going to get this in my rotation. You know, one of these days I'll do longer term reviews of how these things hold up and how hard they are to sharpen after, you know, use and stuff like that. But that's definitely going to make it into my rotation. That's a cool knife. I kind of don't want to cut this open and see what it says on the inside. It's kind of, let's say, we believe, and it's just talking about the care of the knife, and looks like the warranty and stuff like that is in there. I'm going to keep that because that's what holds the rest of this together. And so if I ever go to sell it one day, I don't want the packaging all mangled. But that's a neat knife. That's the Carter XL. They do make a smaller one that's a little bit cheaper. I would go check out the James brand. If you're familiar with them and don't like them because you think they're too hipsterish or hoity-toity, whatever. I don't get too caught up in that stuff. I look at the product itself, and if it's a cool product that appeals to me, I'll buy it. I'll use it. All I got to do is just loosen this up. I would say that's probably the only thing is, you know, out of the box, some knives come and just flick a little better. The Benchmade out of the box. Actually, you know what? My Benchmade didn't drop free and flick. I had to adjust the pivot like 1/20th of a turn, and that gave me just enough play in the blade to where it was all loosey-goosey. So I can do that. I've got my little hex tool here. I could probably do that. That's the only thing I'd say. Out of the box, it isn't dropping free and just flipping freely. But I don't think my Benchmade bug out did either. I think I had to play with that one a little bit. The Freak did, but not the bug out. Anyway, we cut this short. Got some stuff to do and get to. But that's the one I've been waiting on this week. The James brand Carter XL. Nice solid knife. No flex in the handle, man. I mean, it feels strong. That's a nice knife. Anyway, got any questions? Put them in the comments.